Hello, everybody, and welcome to the stream. This is a very special stream. It's very special. In fact, it's a one shot. And look at these. Look, I have so many players. I have a dearth of players. Hi, everybody. We're gonna play some Dungeon World with the Roll20 esports team. And before I even allow any of you to introduce yourselves, can I get a show of hand? Who here has not played a role playing game before?
Me.
Show me your hands. Yes. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Oh, this is gonna be great. So for folks who watch for folks who watch me on stream doing the role playing game thing, you know that I like role playing games quite a lot, and I like playing them with people who haven't played them before because they're not constrained by like traditional ideas about what a role playing game is. It's going to be great. I'm really excited. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. I think I have everybody in their correct box, but if I've put anyone in the wrong place, it's because we had a last minute quack related musical chairs game we had to play. I'm not blaming anybody, but just saying. Uh,
Something happened.
yeah. So why don't we introduce ourselves? Who are you? Who are you, nerds? What are you doing here? What's going on? Anybody, just introduce yourself. Pick
Okay,
someone.
I can introduce
Yeah,
myself.
do
That
it.
was a very toxic introduction, to be honest. But yeah, my name is Quackney, and I'm a professional Heroes of the Storm player, and I play for Roll20 together with these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Down below Quack, I believe, is Rob. Yeah. What's your deal?
Hello,
Yeah.
I am Rob, aka Robodoba. I'm the tank player for Roll20.
Nice. Nice. Cool. Next to Rob, down under me in the overlay, it's Shad, I believe is how you pronounce
Hello.
that. Yeah.
Yes, hello. I'm Daniel Schat. I play support for Roll20 Esports, and yeah, let's have some fun.
Nice. Nice. Over here in this corner, it's Zarmony, I
Hey,
think.
hello.
Yeah, it
My name
is.
is Mutitz, and I'm known as I'm known as Harmony in Heroes, and I play the offlane with these guys together.
Cool, cool. And then last but not least, over here, it's Chris. We come all the way around.
My name is Chris, and I play range DPS for Roll20.
Yes, but today you will be playing fantasy characters in a land of excitement and adventure, and probably not getting killed. Maybe you'll get killed. I don't know. There was some talk already of PvP, so we'll see. We'll see
It
how
wouldn't
that
surprise
goes.
me if Quackness kills me in an accident.
50-50 at this point.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? It's cool. The stakes are low. We're just gonna hang out and we're gonna tell an exciting story of fantasy adventure. So the way this is gonna work for all y'all, we are going to make characters together, and during that process, I'll walk you through it, so you don't have to know how to do it or anything. But I'll just ask you a bunch of questions about your character, and I will write down the answers, and I will use all of that stuff to put together a little scenario that we can all undergo. But the basic stuff of this game is that you're going to have a character. Your job will be to say what that character says, tell me what that character does, and sometimes the game will step in and say, "Okay, that thing you just described, you need to roll some dice to determine whether you succeed or fail." There's really only one kind of roll in the game that you need to know anything about. So the Roll20 sheet will handle the roll for you, but basically you'll get one of three answers. You'll get a 6 or less on your dice when you roll them. That's bad. If you get a 6 or less, that means you don't get the thing that you were trying to do. So if you say, "I attack the orc with my sword," and then we get you to roll and you get a 6 or less, you probably do not get the good thing that you want. The orc might stab you with his sword. You might drop your sword. You might accidentally stab one of your friends. I will tell you the bad thing that happens to you. Um, if you get a 10 or better, that means that you did get the thing that you wanted. You did stab that orc, and you probably do some extra damage, or you get to look extra cool, or some additional bonus will happen. 10 plus is good. Most of the time, though, you'll end up in the middle where you'll get a 7 to 9. And a 7 to 9 means you get what you want, but there might be some additional costs. You might have to pay for it. You might also take some damage, or something bad might happen, but you'll still get the thing that you want. And basically the idea is that we just keep moving from one thing to another, and when we start, we'll have a group. After character creation, we'll have a group of characters who know each other, who have a history with each other, and who are ready to set out on an adventure together. So yeah, I think it'll be fun. Don't worry about getting it right. Ask lots of questions. I'm here to instruct you, and everybody knows that it's our first time, so that's kind of part of the fun. So when we make our characters, when we create your persona for the world, the character you're going to play, there's a series of steps that we go through to do that. So I've in Roll20, and I'll show everybody at home what we're doing here. So in Roll20, I've given you a character. Currently, their name is to be determined because they don't have a name yet. I'll let you figure that out as you go. So open up your character sheet, and we'll go through and we will select all of the various options to fill out on the sheet. So the first thing that we need to do is choose a character class, and I'll give you a quick overview of the classes, and then we can talk about what class everybody wants to play, because there can only be one of each thing. You can't multi up on stuff. So your options are, and there was a little bit of chat about this beforehand, but you can be a bard. So a bard is a singer of songs, a player of musical instruments. They are the lore master for the group. They're the person who knows lots of things about the world, and they'll be able to inform the other characters. So when you see a strange new place, or you encounter an unusual new monster, usually it's the bard that knows about it. So you get to roll, and we'll make up stuff together. So if you feel like being creative and making up stuff, play the bard. You can be a cleric. Clerics are usually healers. They have some healing magic, but they're also pretty good fighters, and they are the ones who they worship the gods. So they'll have a specific god that will work out together. So we can make that up, and your god will give you magic because you're such a good cleric. You can use that magic to heal your friends or do other things that are not that. It's up to you. You can be a druid. The druid is a shapeshifter. So a druid is someone who can turn into animals. So if you want to turn into like a giant snake or a bear or an owl, or I don't know, I don't care. You figure it out. You can play the druid. They get some nature-y magic stuff too. You can be a fighter. Fighters fight things. They get a magic weapon. They get a special weapon, and they use that weapon to destroy stuff and kill things. You can be a paladin. A paladin is like a fighter, but they're like snootier, and they have powers of authority. So if you want to go around bossing people around and telling people what to do in the name of your god, but also be good at fighting, you can be a paladin. You can be a ranger if you want to have an animal companion. So you have a pet that serves you. I think the last time that I played Dungeon World, the ranger's pet was a donkey. So maybe you know what? If you want a donkey, that's cool. But I've also seen like more traditional pets like wolves or giant bats or whatever. You can be a thief if you want to steal things. That's what thieves do. They're sneaky. They steal things, stab people in the back, make poisons. Or if you want to cast spells, you want to throw fireballs and magic missiles and what have you, you can be a wizard. So those are your options. I know it sounds like a lot. Who wants to be what? What do you think? Do people have thoughts?
I want to be a ranger.
Yeah? Quack, you want to be a ranger?
But the paladin fits you more.
Yeah, well, no, I want to be a ranger. I want to have a duckling as a pet.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, Quack, so you can be a ranger. I like that. That like this this class suits you more. Yeah, well, too bad. I'm going to be a ranger. All right, cool.
I take wizard. I want to be wizard.
Yeah? Okay.
Oh, wait, if I'm a paladin, I'm the shot caller, right?
Yes, that's why I said.
Ah.
You have to be tank though if you're paladin.
No, because I can tell you're a tank, even though you're a wizard. I'm the shot caller.
I mean, the paladin's main skill is definitely telling other people what to do. So they have a move. I'll read it to you to give you an idea. So they have a special power called I am the law. And when you give an NPC, which is to say not one of the other characters, you can boss the other characters around, but they don't have to listen to you. But when you give a non-player character, so like a shopkeeper or a random goblin or whatever, you give them an order based on your divine authority, you can make a move and tell them what to do. And if you succeed, then they have to follow your command.
Okay, I want that class then.
Yeah,
that's me.
Rob, you want to be that? All right. Okay. Paladin. Okay. So when you're making these decisions on your character sheet, if you look at, let me just grab a random one. So when you open your character sheet, if you click to the character sheet tab, there's a big bar under your character's name where it says class. So you can just type in the name of your class there. So you can put in if you're a paladin or ranger or wizard. Okay, cool. Chris, do you know what you want to play?
Yeah, wizard.
Okay, so yeah, you are going to be a wizard.
yeah.
So Shed, do you want to be the bard? You were talking about bard before.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Okay. All right. I'll put a big question mark for now. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So who?
Okay, let's try that. Let's try that.
Yeah, you want to do that? I mean,
Yeah, let's do
the
that.
stakes are very, very low. Even if you end up being the world's worst bard, no one will blame you for it. It'll be fine.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, so we have a ranger, a bard, a paladin, a wizard. Nice, good rounded out party. What's our last character gonna be?
I'm gonna be a fighter, I guess.
Yeah, cool. All right, fighter. Excellent. Cool. All right. So yeah, type the name of your class into the class section there, and what you can
Wait,
do.
I'm a bit lost.
Yeah, that's okay.
Where do I go?
So on your character sheet, so in Roll20 on the right, there's a like where the sort of chat bar is. There's some icons along the top. One of them looks like a folded over newspaper. If you click on that one,
Called journal.
yeah, it's called the journal, exactly.
What am I missing? Did I? Can
You
I
know,
have
on the
link
site
again?
with all our avatars, like at the bottom.
I renamed myself.
Like the where we started the game.
Oh,
Yeah.
This site. Okay. Where did I go now?
On the right hand side, up at the top.
Journal.
Yeah, the journal there, and then you'll
Okay.
find your character.
Okay, we're good, boys.
And then when you open it, if you're on the little character sheet tab, you'll see the little DW logo, and you'll see name and class.
And I just write Ranger.
Yeah, you can write Ranger under class. I'm really hoping now. Zermany, let's confirm. Do you want to be a fighter named Fighter, or did you just write Fighter in your name?
Yeah. That's
Listen,
my-
if you want to be a fighter named Fighter,
No.
that's totally acceptable to me. I am super in for the fighter named Fighter. That's also possible, but you can also change it and put Fighter under your class.
So can I boost my strength and stuff now?
You will. So we'll get to that in a second. We're going to do all those together. So what you want to do is have your you'll have that open, but you can also pull up your class in up at the top next to the journal. There's the compendium. This is where all the rules of the game are. So if you click on that, you'll see one of those lists your class. So you can pull that up as another one, and so that'll give you all your stuff. So we'll walk through character creation together.
All right.
So let's go. Let me just pull my character creation list up here. Okay. All right. So you've chosen your class. Everybody has a class. So on your class sheet, some of them will have a race option. So this is whether you're a dwarf or an elf or a human or a halfling. So you'll pick one of those. Rob, you only have one choice. All paladins are humans. You're a human.
Okay.
So on your character sheet, you'll find where it says your race, and you'll type that in the first box. And this just tells you what your character's race is, and then you'll get a special ability based on that. So, for example, wizards, if you're a wizard and you're an elf, you will get detect magic as a cantrip, like an easy spell that you can cast anytime you want. But if you're a human wizard, you get a cleric spell that you can cast as if it was a wizard spell. So each one of these is like a special ability that you get. But again, if you're a paladin, you're a human. That's just how it goes.
Can I be a gnome?
Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing: you have a list of stuff that are options. But if you want to be something that's not on the list, it's like you can do that. So you want to be a gnome instead of a?
Pretty sure I'm a gnome.
Yeah, you want to be a gnome? Okay. So
Yeah.
let's I'm gonna have some questions for you then. What are gnomes like? Tell me about gnomes.
Okay, so gnomes are very sneaky,
Okay.
very funny, and they all tend to have this little special ability of, like like as the thieves, you know, like we're sneaky, so I might steal Chris's magic wand sometimes, and they just toy around with it.
Okay, so they're like sneaky, kind of like tricksters.
They're like toddlers, you know, like we're
Like, okay, that's perfect. Like toddlers.
running around doing random shit, being goofy.
Perfect. Okay, good. So you're a gnome ranger, and gnomes are sort of like. So do gnomes? Do they ever like grow up out of that, or are they like that until they're old and then they die?
No, like there was this one guy who actually grew out of gnome, but like it's just a myth, right? So
Oh, okay. So there's a myth about a gnome that grew up and became like. Did this person stay a gnome, or like did they become something else? Are gnomes like the infant form of some other mythological race that no one believes in?
I mean, I've just heard a story from my gnome father, and
Okay.
he just said that like he's telling me this story every time I go to bed.
Right. That
Because,
one day.
like there's some gnomes that are really sad about never growing up and always being small toddlers.
Okay.
So like it gives us hope
Right.
that
That
one day
someday you could grow
we
up.
can maybe turn into a human-ish.
Okay, right, cool. Right, okay. So there's this myth about gnomes growing up. Okay, but certainly you've never met an adult gnome.
No,
Okay.
never.
All right. So I think then probably your like gnome special ability is that that gnomes like you can be mistaken for a child. Like anytime that you want to just pretend that you're a kid, despite the fact that I don't know, like maybe you have like a mustache and a beard or whatever, like it doesn't matter. People will like believe that you're a child. Okay, all right, I like that.
It sounds like the reality. Just
Okay, yeah. So they have like eternal baby face, and so you can pretend to just be like a kid, and people will believe you. I like it. Okay, fantastic, great. Okay, so you're a gnome ranger. Rob, what did you pick for your human, right?
Yes.
Because you're a paladin. Okay. All right. Silly question. Our wizard, Chris. What did you choose for your race?
I took elf.
You're gonna be an elf. Okay. Cool. I will ask you more things about elves in a little bit when we do the end steps. Chad, what rank? What race are you?
Be a human.
You human too. Okay. Cool. All right. And our fighter. Is your race also fighter? Are you the fighter?
No, obviously not. I'm gonna be a dwarf.
Dwarf, nice. Okay. Excellent. All right. So I'll ask you guys questions about what dwarves and humans and elves are like in this world when we get started. Okay. Good. So now, if you haven't already, you can come up with a name for your character. There is a list of names on the class sheet, but you don't have to choose from those. Those are just if you can't think of one.
I'll
You
take
can
one
just-
from there.
Yeah,
So,
you can just write one from there.
Galadia sounds good.
Okay, cool.
I like that name.
Okay, so yeah, just put that in your name list there. All right, I'm gonna grab a different color pen for everybody's names. Okay, so our bard's name is Edwin. Okay, cool. And Galadir is our wizard. Okay, good. All right, dwarven fighter named. Can you pronounce your name for me, there, dwarf? The dwarven fighter, Nidorum.
Nidorum, yeah.
Nidorum. Okay, cool.
It's really
need
complex.
a room.
Need a room?
It's very Tolkien. It's very Tolkien-esque. It sounds like a Tolkien dwarf name for sure. Okay, good.
I can make jokes then about get a room and stuff like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you're a gnome, so everybody
Nice.
puts up with it for now until you get thrown into a fire.
Sure.
Quack, what's your character's name?
Pilmannen 37.
All right, so that's odd. Do all gnomes have numbers at the ends of their names, or are you like the 37th Pilmannen, or?
Yeah, so like there's a legend about Pilmannen, which I'm not gonna tell you now. Maybe if you get lucky, you can hear it later. But
Okay.
yeah, you'll just have to live with that answer for now.
Fantastic. Okay, great. All right. So for some reason you have a 37 in your name. Great. I like it. Okay. Cool. And then Rob, what's your character's name?
My name is Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. Excellent. A fine human paladin name.
There's no way you made that one up, right?
It might be the first one on suggested names. Maybe.
Hey, look, that's what they're there for. So, so the next thing that you're gonna do is your character's look. So there's a text box on your sheet to fill in the look, but on the class page there are suggestions. So you'll need one item from each of the three lists. So for example, the wizard, you'll have an option, a choice for eyes, a choice for hair, a choice for clothes, and a choice for body. So you can fill in one of those for each of your look. So we'll just get a quick look at what your characters look like, and I'll ask you about those at the end. You don't have to share those yet.
Wait, one more time.
Yeah. So look on your character sheet.
Yep.
It's an empty box, but there is a list on the class page under look. So for example, the wizard might have haunted eyes, sharp eyes, or crazy eyes. The wizard might have worn robes, stylish robes, or strange robes. So you can just pick one from each set on the list and make a note.
I don't have any. It just says look and is a blank.
Yeah. On the class sheet for ranger.
Yeah.
So if you in the compendium, it's the little eye next to it. If you type in ranger, or you just click on classes.
Yeah,
and then
class
click on.
ranger.
Yeah, and if you scroll down, so for ranger under look, it's right after names. Yeah, so you'll pick some options from there. But of course, you're already a pro at just making up your own stuff, so you can just pick whatever. You just need to have a couple of options.
I got this.
And I'm gonna save it until later, and we can do the big reveal at the end to see what everybody's character looks like. Okay. Cool. So anyone who has their look already squared away, we can start doing your stats. So on the sheet, your stats are basically you have 6 of them. You have strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, and those 6 things will determine how good you are at doing things in the game. Whenever I ask you to make a roll, it'll be based on one of those stats. So if I say roll plus strength or roll plus charisma, all you have to do is click on it in your sheet. Yeah, there you go. And it'll automatically, Roll20 will automatically roll the dice, and it'll give you a number. So it'll be less than 6 or less, 7 to 9, or 10 or better, and then I'll tell you what happens. So to determine what these scores are, you have a set that you'll put in. Oops. As I click on the wrong thing. There we go. You have a set that you'll put in, and I'll paste them into chat. Hang on here. Here we go. Boop. Okay. So these numbers will go, right now it's all 10s. So you see the 10s there. So you can change these. One of them will become a 16. One of them is a 15. And these are all in the chat log. One of them is a 13. One's a 12. One's a 9. And one's an 8. So you'll just add these in as you go. So assign those 6 numbers to your different stats. So if you want to be really strong, put your 16 in strength. If you want to be really fast, put your 16 in dexterity. So you'll basically decide what is your most important thing, and then what's your next most important thing, and so on and so forth. And you can change those by selecting the 10 next to strength, dexterity, or con, and changing that number.
So we only have 6 bonus points, you're saying, for these.
You have
stats.
you have the array, which is these numbers. I've just posted them in chat there. So one of your stats will be a 16, and if you put your 16 in strength, that means you'll have to put your other numbers elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which means something is going to have to be a 9 and something's going to have to be an 8. So you'll have some stuff that your character is not that great at, for example.
Wait, Rob, just to make sure that I don't mess up again, when in this little window on Zoom, do I click the exit minimize video to make it big again?
You hover over it, right? Like if you see it as little, you just hover it, and then you can maximize it.
No,
Do you see?
I cannot. So can you just go over the stats again? Just like 16 in one thing?
Yeah. 16 in one of your stats.
Yep.
15 in another stat.
Yep.
13 in another one. 12, 9, and 8. Everybody's getting in lots of practice rolls. Congratulations. Look at you.
Okay, I didn't understand how it works. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
Okay. So I need to roll how now? I'm not really sure.
You don't have to roll anything yet. You're just assigning your stats.
Wait, Constitution, is that like health?
Yes, yeah. Constitution is how hardy your character is. It won't necessarily. It'll determine how many hit points you have, but the difference between 8 and 16 is. It seems big, but it's probably best not to put your biggest stat in Constitution just to keep yourself alive. Like it takes some time.
It's okay. I'm a ranger. I have a pet, and I have rob tanking for me. It should be
there you
alright with
go.
low HP.
Exactly. Just stay away from danger. You'll be fine.
That's not how it works. I'm still gonna take all the battles, but I just have to play long range.
Okay, so let me take a look and see. Yeah, there you go. For our bard, Chad, you one of your stats. Yeah, you got your 16 wisdom.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you got it squared away. You're great. Good stuff. Okay, so I'll let everybody get that sorted out first. The sheet will automatically figure out your modifiers. You're gonna want to set. You'll set your hit points. So right now, your hit points are 0 of 0. You can see them between armor and damage, kind of in the middle. So your hit points will start with whatever you put in Constitution. So if your Constitution is 12, it starts at 12. And then your class will give you some more. So, for example, we use the wizard. So a wizard will start with Constitution, and then you'll add 4 to whatever you put in. So Galadier, your hit points are 12 for Constitution, plus another 4 from being a wizard. So you start with 16, and you can put, since you start the game at full health, put 16 in
16 of 16.
Yeah, 16 of 16, exactly.
All right.
Okay, cool.
So I put 16.
Yeah, there you go.
That's my thing.
Okay, cool. Let's check. So Edwin, you got your 14. You got sorted out. Galadier, we know is good. So Nidarum, let's get your.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, let's walk through your. So you want to get your stats?
Yeah.
Your stats sorted out. So you're a fighter. So for you, strength and strengthened constitution are both important, but dexterity could be useful. The difference between intelligence and wisdom is intelligence is knowing stuff, and wisdom is like being able to notice things and have willpower, etc. Right? It's about your character's sort of like insight into the world. And then charisma is how well liked your character is, how able they are to get what they want when they talk to people. So for a fighter, the safest thing would probably be like your 16 in strength and then 15 in constitution.
Yeah, how do I actually add now the numbers?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
So right next to
Never
it
mind.
where it says 10,
Yeah.
you can just
Okay.
highlight it. Yeah. So get those set up. So you've got a 16, a 15, and then a 13 and a 12, and then a 9 and an 8. So you can decide kind of how you want that to go. Yeah. So 13 and 12. Yeah, you got it. And then 9 and then 8. Okay. All right, cool. Nidarum is very strong and pretty fast and reasonably charismatic, but not very smart and kind of wise. Okay, perfect. Good. So now for your hit points as a fighter, it's based on your constitution. So it starts at 15, and then you get an additional 10. So you have 25 hit points.
Nice,
So-
I'm the real tank.
Yeah, so under hit points, change it from 0 to 25. Yes, you can take lots and lots of damage. Plus, you'll have here. Leave your Constitution. Yeah, there you go. You got it. Yeah, you have lots of hit points. Plus, you'll probably wear armor, which will reduce the amount of damage that you take. So, yeah, lots of survivability as the fighter. Okay, cool. And then Pilmanen, you got yours, and Thaddeus, you also have 25 hit points. Nice, big and tough. All right, cool. All right, so you've got your hit points. So now your characters, if you look at the character sheet, you have that open with your character list in the compendium. You'll have some starting moves. You can copy these to your character sheet if you want to. You can leave them on the compendium if you want. It's up to you. But for example, the fighter, once per battle, let's see. Oh no, as many times as you want, you can bend bars or lift gates. So the fighter is good at breaking things. So if you want to use your strength to destroy an obstacle, that's an ability that you have. Fighters are good at wearing armor. You have the armored move. And you have some choices for your signature weapon. So this thing you will need to make some decisions. I'm going to give everybody kind of their stuff to work on, and then we'll come back and I'll ask you about it. So for you, Nidarum, you're going to figure out your signature weapon. Do you have that open on the compendium? Okay, so take a look at that, and for each of the dots, you'll pick one. So it might end up being a hammer with reach. That has hooks and spikes and is ancient, right? Or it might be a sword that is close, that is perfectly weighted. So you'll go through and you'll choose those and detail that. So make a note of that on your character sheet somewhere. For Edwin, for our bard, do you have your sheet up there? You're gonna need to choose your area of expertise. So this is what your character knows about your bardic lore.
Where do I find it?
So it's under if you scroll down, it's under arcane art, and then there's bardic lore on your entry for bards in the
Choose an area of expertise.
Yeah,
Okay.
so you'll choose one of those, and I'll ask you about that when we get to it. Okay. Galadir, you're gonna pick some. Normally, I get you to pick some spells, but because this is a one shot, when you want to cast a spell, you just tell me what spell from the list you want. Just make sure you have the spell sheet available, and we'll let you cast. And you can cast any level 1 spells. So just make sure you have those handy. Level 1 and level 0 spells are available for you that are wizard spells.
Okay.
Okay, cool. So we got you guys. Pilmanen 37. You're gonna choose your pet. So you're gonna choose the form of your pet, and the training that your pet has. Do you have the ranger section open?
Yeah, boy.
All right, do it. So you'll choose a species. You choose some base stats for it. You pick some strengths and what it's trained to do.
Do I just tell you, or do I write?
Write it down on your character sheet. We're basically once all of the character stuff is done, I'll go back and walk through everybody, and I'll ask a bunch of questions, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Under where do I write it?
For you can write it under moves. I'll add a new one for you. So you could add under there. There's also if you go to on your sheet, you see where it says main, sub, and settings, like top left corner. Click on sub. There's a notes field, so put it in there. Same for the wizard if you want to write down your spells. And we'll get back to
So
this.
I can just choose 3, or like
for your spells. Yeah. Like I'm not too worried about making you like re-prepare them over and over, because that can be a little complicated. But for now, yeah, choose 3 spells that you like and write them down. But if later you want to swap out, or you want to play something, use a different spell, we can figure that out.
okay.
Okay, and then lastly, Thaddeus, you're gonna choose your quest. You're gonna detail kind of like what it is you're out in the world to do. So that again, that's on your paladin sheet in the compendium. So you dedicate yourself to a mission, and you'll decide what your quest is and what two abilities are granted by the gods to complete your quest. And then I'll tell you we'll talk about your vows when we do the introduction. Okay. All right, so I'll give you guys a second to kind of pick through those and see what you want to do.
Bet, quack, dice first. Come on, bro.
There's so much faith in you. You'll be fine. Plus, you have a pet to protect you.
I do. But I have written some stuff about my pet, but I need to give it stats or something, right? Like training, you said.
So you're gonna pick. So for your pet, when you decide what rangering abilities it has, you're gonna select a base. So ferocity, cunning, armor, and instinct. You'll pick one of those. Pick one of those 4 sets. And then you'll choose as many strengths as its ferocity. So if it has ferocity 3, it might be fast, calm, and tireless. If it has ferocity 1, it might only be intimidating.
Okay. And what does cunning mean?
So all of these things are like ways for us to understand the characters, the animals' like abilities and what we can do with it in the game. So ferocity is kind of how savage it is, how much like a wild animal it is. Cunning is how smart it is, so like how well trained it is. Armor is how much damage it can reduce, and then its instinct is kind of what how many weaknesses it has, how much like an animal it still is.
Why does these numbers have to be so balanced?
Yeah, I know, right? The ferocity goes up, so does the instinct. So yeah, if you do that, just pick the stat line and then pick however many abilities it gets for each thing, and I'll write those down later.
I write them in notes as well.
Yep, yeah, you can just write them in notes.
What does piercing do?
Piercing means that it can ignore armor, so you can punch through an enemy's armor with it.
Okay.
We can do combos. Pick piercing.
I will, yeah.
Okay, cool. Got my character creation sheet here. So this part, yeah, we'll. Some of you have more choices to make than others. Obviously, it's easier to do like your weapon than it is to do the animal companion.
Also, is weight really important for my class?
Again, normally in like a longer campaign, we would track how heavy the stuff you're carrying around with you is. But because we're just doing a one shot, I'm not worried about it. You're not going to be trekking around a bunch of treasure and stuff.
Okay.
Where do I write my quest, or do I just tell you?
You can write it under notes. If you go on the character sheet where it says main, sub, and settings, if you click sub, that'll give you kind of the back of your character sheet. So it'll give you a note section that you can punch information into. Cool. Okay, we are almost done. All right. So once you have those choices settled, like if you're already done with your starting stuff, you're gonna choose your character's alignment. So alignment is a short description of your character's moral outlook. Each class may only start with certain alignments. When you choose it, it's going to give you actions that'll earn you experience points when you play your character. So, for example, I'll use, let's pull up one that you guys aren't. So, for example, the cleric has alignment options that are good, lawful, or evil. So, a good cleric will get experience points endangering themselves to heal somebody. A lawful cleric will get experience by endangering themselves to follow the precepts of their god. An evil cleric will get experience for harming someone to prove the superiority of their church or god. So you'll all have options. So they might not be the same as a cleric, but you'll all have your own. So you'll pick one of those, and if you do that thing during the game, you'll get experience points. So they're just a way for the game to tell you, like, here, you should do this with your character. You'll get XP for it. The other ways you get XP is by defeating monsters, finding treasure, and exploring the world, learning things about the universe. As well, every time you fail a roll, if you get a 6 or less, you get a point of experience. So it kind of takes the sting out of failing. But choose one of those alignments. For
I
your
just
sheet.
write it under.
Yeah,
up
right.
as well.
Yeah, right under alignment on the front.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's an alignment section there. And then the last thing that you'll have to do is select your gear, and then we'll go around and we'll do introductions. But I'll talk about gear in a second. I just want to make sure everybody is finished with their special moves, and everybody has an alignment. So. Okay. Cool. Do you guys have questions? Everybody sorted out?
Hope it's all right.
Ready to go?
I just clicked on the spell book and then I chose to view all the right, and then I
that's fine.
picked right. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Cool. Well, then let's do gear. So you'll get some starting stuff. Now in this game, the damage that you can deal, the damage your character deals, isn't based on the weapon that you use. A longsword in the hands of a wizard isn't going to be very effective because a wizard never learned how to use it. You can still use a big sword, but it's not going to deal as much damage. Just the same, if you put a broken bottle in the hands of the fighter, they're going to be able to do some damage with it because that's what they do. They wreck things. So everybody's going to on the front of your sheet, back on the main section, where it says damage, there is a die selector there. If you haven't already, you'll set that based on your class. So the bard's damage die is a d6, I think. The fighter is a d10. Let's see. Yeah.
MD4.
Yeah, wizard's a d4. Yeah. And then ranger's a d8, I believe. Paladin and fighter are d10s. So just make sure you have that on the front of your sheet. It probably says d4 to begin with, but let's just make sure. Yep. Looks like
a weapon, right?
everybody's good. Yeah. Okay. So now you can purchase your gear. So you'll get some starting gear according to your class. And these are options to choose. So now you're going to choose, for example, I'll use the bard as an example. Ignore load. You don't have to worry about how much you're carrying. The bard will start with dungeon rations. So it's one item you can use 5 times. It's food. You're also going to choose an instrument. So choose one of those instruments and write it down on your gear. You're going to choose what your character is wearing. If something has an armor value, so for example, the bard has leather armor. If it says 1 armor, that means that if I tell you take 4 damage, your armor will reduce it by 1. So it subtracts from your armor. You'll choose a weapon. So as a bard, you either have a dueling rapier or you have a worn bow, a bundle of arrows, and a short sword. And then you'll choose one more from the last item. So you either have a bag of adventuring gear, bandages, halfling pipe leaf, or 3 coins. So you'll choose one of those 4 and write all that stuff down on your gear. Yeah, halfling pipe leaf. If you share it with someone, you get a bonus to parlay with them to get them to do what you want.
Wait, where does it say gear in this thingy?
Not finding it either.
For the ranger, all the gear is down near the bottom. It's after alignment.
No, where
Yeah,
in the
no,
character sheet?
Oh, on the
I put
sheet,
it-
it's on the back. Under sub, there's a section that says coin, and there's gear. You just click the add button, and then you type in the name of the thing that you're.
Okay,
And then you can
okay.
just keep adding items.
Add gear name, but I mean, it just says like, so it's hunter's bow then. I guess.
Yeah.
So since it says I start with the spellbook, I type in spellbook 2.
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So you just type all the stuff that you begin with.
Gear tags, is that
The tags are the items, the things that describe the item. So a hunter's bow, the tags are near and far. So that's how like if somebody is right up close to you, you can't use your hunter's bow on them because they're too close. But you could use your short sword. You could draw your short sword and use that on them.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So you'll make a note there, and you can always, if you forget to write something in, we can always come back and grab it from here. Okay.
Should I mark equipped?
Yeah, sure.
When the equipped is grayed out, does that mean it's equipped or unequipped?
Don't worry too much about the details of that, but I believe that when it is grayed out, it means it's unequipped. Yeah.
I need to add another one, right? And add some armor.
Yes, and then you add again for each. Yeah, and you'll have one for each item you have in your inventory.
What is dungeon rations?
So dungeon rations are like dried bread or meat or cheese. It's essentially food. And when you rest, you need to eat a ration to be able to recover your hit points.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't have any food, you can't get any better just by resting.
But wait, like if I don't pick that, I don't have any arrows.
You'll get arrows with your bow. So like the ranger, let me scroll down, follow along with you here. So you will get dungeon rations, leather armor, and arrows no matter what. Then you're going to choose a hunter's bow and a short sword, or a hunter's bow and a spear.
Yeah.
And then either adventuring gear and more rations, so you get double rations, or adventuring gear and double arrows, so another set of arrows.
All right.
Yeah, so it doesn't, no matter what, you'll get some arrows and some rations. As a ranger, anyway. Everybody's gear is different. For our fighter and our paladin, and I guess anybody with armor, but you two especially, for you, if you have armor, on the front of your sheet, you'll notice your armor has a number that automatically adds up. Just make sure that under your armor, you set what its base is, and that should fill it in for you. Here, let's make sure you have your armor equipped. Sorry, keep rolling for you. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So as long as it has the number in there, and it has the equipped tag on, it'll show your armor there. Cool.
It does not say how much damage it does, though.
No, because your damage is based on your class. You'll always do a d6. Yeah.
Because there's a damage. When I click weapon, there's a damage.
Yeah.
That I have to fill. I just leave it on 0.
Yeah, it'll come from your class. Yeah. If you leave it on 0, because some weapons might, like if it's magical, it might give you a +1 to damage, but by default they don't. Cool. Okay. Anybody still working on gear?
A bit.
Yeah.
I think I messed something up because I put all the space into moves. Is that so?
Oh yeah, I mean, again,
Yeah.
putting where you put it on the sheet isn't a huge deal.
Okay.
Just as long as it's written down on the sheet and you know what to look for, it's fine. Yeah, because you'll have access to the compendium the whole time, so don't worry about putting it in the right place necessarily. Okay, well let's do introductions. Let's get to the fun bit where we kind of like talk about the characters and kind of get to know them. So while we're doing this, the reason we do character introductions is twofold. One is so that I can get to know your characters. I can get to understand kind of what character you're playing and what kinds of stuff you're interested in doing with that character. I can ask you things like I was asking Quack about gnomes. We can learn, because there's no setting, right? This isn't set in an existing universe. I have no idea. Like I came to the table with nothing prepared, so I need to ask you. You know, what are elves like? What are humans like? Where did your character come from? What is the world at large like? And then ask you specific stuff about your character so that I can build the adventure for you that we're going to play through in the next little while. It's also so you can get to know each other, because all of these characters you have traveled together before. You have history, and in this game, mechanically, we call those bonds. So Shad noticed this in the beginning that everybody has bonds on your sheet. So while you're listening to everyone talk about their characters, keep an eye on your bonds on the sheet. They're right down near the bottom of the compendium. So, for example, the bard has a bond that says, "This is not my first adventure with blank." So the blank, that's going to be the name of another character. So while you're listening, think about that, and then when we get around, we'll do all the introductions, and then we'll do bonds. So I'll ask you to tell me what your bonds are, and you might say, "This is not my first adventure with Thaddeus." And then I'll be like, "Oh, okay, so the bard and the paladin have traveled before. What was that like? What did you guys do?" And so that'll build up. And some of these are fun. Some of them are silly. Some of them are kind of tense, and they'll build up what your characters kind of have in common and build up a history for them. And then you can use that to play. Mechanically, the other thing is if you want to help someone or make something they're doing more difficult, you want to like get in their way, the more bonds you have with them, the easier that is to do. The better you know them, the easier it is to help or screw with them. So that's useful to know as you go in. You can put the same person's name more than once in the lists. So who wants to start describing their character? I'll ask you a bunch of questions, but who wants to go first? Who has a pretty good handle on what I'm gonna do? And if nobody wants to volunteer, I'll just pick somebody.
I can
Go, Quack.
start.
Yeah. Okay. So who wants to go first? Sorry.
Pilman and 37,
Okay. All right.
reporting for duty.
It does not surprise me that you're going first. All right, let me do it. All right, so Pillman at 37, whose name is mysterious. You are a gnome ranger. Okay, and we talked a little bit about gnomes. Let's start with your character's look. What did you choose for look for Pillman and 37?
Okay, so I'm bald.
Okay.
I have facial hair that looks just like yours.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. And I'll point out, and folks who are watching the stream at home, they can see that Quack has written on his character sheet, facial hair like yours, Adam. That is literally on the sheet. Okay. So, all right. Excellent.
I have a god cape, which I don't know how that looks like, but it's like, I've got it from a god, so it's...
So a cape that... Okay, hold on. We got to talk about that. So was this a gift? Did you steal this cape from a god?
So this guy I met,
Okay.
not gonna mention his name. He is. I've been on adventures with this guy before, and he obeys his gods. And I got to join a meeting or like a secret meeting when this guy was meeting up with the god, and I might have borrowed his cape.
Right. So when it was time for God to go home, he was like, "Wait, where's my cape?" And no one could find it. They lost his cape because it was stolen by you. Okay.
There's a wanted poster up in this world where there's a bounty on whoever finds that cape, right?
Okay. So you're wanted for this crime.
Yeah, but my allies are, like they're protecting me.
Sure, we'll see about that. Okay, so you met somebody who is a servant of the gods, and somehow you got invited to this meeting between this person and their god. And then while you were at the meeting, you rudely stole the cape of this.
That's
deity.
not what I said. I said I borrowed it, right?
Sure. Okay, you borrowed it with the intention to give it back. I'm going to put borrowed in quotation marks here.
There we go.
So, okay. So what let's talk about this god that is searching for you to get his cape back. What is this god a god of?
It's Rob's god.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Great.
know his name.
You mean Thaddeus?
Right.
Thaddeus
So
god,
all
I
right.
guess.
All right. So I'll wait. So we'll ask Thaddeus about this. I also really like that you've established that the gods just like have meetings that they like. It's not like a god that lives in heaven and you have to pray at a distance. It's like, no, we got our 3:00. Me and you, buddy. Come on.
I mean, it's a bit more complex than that, but yeah, like
Okay.
they still do meet up occasionally.
We'll
And-
see. We'll see what Thaddeus has to say about the gods.
Yeah.
But I like that you were there as an adjunct and you borrowed this cape. So does the cape do anything for you, or is it just really nice?
Not for me. It's really big, and I tend to trip on it sometimes. But
You just stole it because it looks nice, or
it looks good. Yeah.
okay, all right. So you have this
You
baller.
still, I still have these dreams of becoming big one day, right?
Oh,
Like a
that's
unicorn.
right. Yeah, so
So
you'll
it's-
grow
it's
into
like
it.
yeah, it's a souvenir or something I'll grow into for sure.
Right. Like, okay, got it. Too big for you. Maybe when you're big enough, it'll unveil its secret powers.
I hope so.
Okay. All right. Cool. So you got this cape. Good. Continue describing. What else does your character look like?
I have a wild body, whatever that means.
Nice. You have a wild body. Yeah. What does that look like? Are you like really furry or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, I have a really good facial hair, so I guess it is everywhere else on my body as well.
Good. Perfect. Yes. Face and body. Okay. Cool. So you're kind of like a furry baby. You're a furry baby. Good. Excellent. Furry gnome baby. I love it. It's fantastic. Okay. So people often mistake you for like an Ewok or like a small ape maybe.
Yeah, but like sometimes I'm on mission, so I shave
Oh
myself.
yeah.
completely
Your razor
disguise
budget must
myself
be
as,
just through the roof.
So I can disguise myself as both a pet and
Right.
a baby.
Sure. Sometimes you look like a human infant. Sometimes you look like a small monkey or Ewok or perhaps bear. I like it.
Exactly.
Okay, great. All right. What
And
else?
then animal eyes.
Nice. So, like,
It's all to blend in, to have a really good camouflage.
So are these literally like snake eyes or goat eyes, or is the animal more like a metaphor? Like you look like you have like a wild
It's
animal.
hawk eyes.
What's that?
Hawk eyes.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
a ranger, so I can see super far.
Nice. Okay. The eyes of a hawk, but you're like a furry monkey baby. Okay, perfect. Good. With a cool cape, though.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Good. That's nice to know. What did you choose for your alignment?
My alignment, neutral.
Okay. And so what do you get rewarded for that?
So help an animal or spirit of the wild.
Nice. Okay. So you're out to help the furry animals. Okay. So speaking of animals, let's talk about your animal companion. What is it? What is your animal companion?
Should I go read what I wrote?
I mean, you tell me. You tell me what your animal companion like. I assume it has a name and it has abilities. What does your name or your animal look like?
Yeah. So my pet is a giant duck that I use as my loyal fighter and also my mount.
Yes, I was about to say, is it big enough for you to ride?
Yes.
Okay, so it is a giant riding duck.
Yeah.
Okay, now hold on. So let's talk about ducks for a minute. So in this world, in this fantasy universe, are all ducks like big? Are some ducks big? Is this a unique, special giant duck, or?
This is a special one.
Okay, so this is
I
the
have a
only
wizard friend that they made some potion.
Oh, so it used to be a regular sized duck.
Yeah, but now it's really cool and big.
Okay, huge because of magic. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Getting the hang of this.
Yeah. This is not my first rodeo. Okay, so it's a magical giant duck it's unique. No, there are no other giant ducks in the world. That's a lonely, experience. Okay. So you're like a small person, and it's like a giant duck. So of course you get along. Okay. What did you choose for its abilities? What is it trained to do?
Quack, by the way.
Oh, his name is Quack. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
And abilities, I went ferocity 2. You mean this?
Yeah.
So ferocity 2, cunning 2, 0 armor, and 1 instinct.
Okay. All right. Cool. Good. All right. So it's like a pretty even stat line for your duck. How did you in this duck? Did you meet the duck when they were like regular size?
Yeah, for sure. I nurtured it from spawn basically.
Okay, was it like an orphaned duck, regular sized duck that you then made into a giant duck by way of magic?
Well, I was rowing down a stream,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this one baby duck that was lost. So I took him home and took care of him.
Excellent. And now you've trained him to fight.
And yeah, like I've just trained him like everybody does with their dogs, in the normal world.
Okay. So is Quack about as intelligent as like a regular duck, or is Quack like smarter than that?
I would say he's pretty smart, and I'm pretty intelligent myself, so
Okay.
I guess he would be above average.
Okay. So slightly smarter than an actual duck. Okay. Cool. All right. So where did you, talking more about Pillman and 37, where did you learn your naturey ways? Like, did you learn them from another ranger? Did you learn from like a spirit of the wild? Like, how did you become trained at the things that you're good at?
So my gnome father taught me everything I know.
Okay. And your gnome, everything you gnome. So was your
Everything.
gnome was the gnome is the gnome father like your specific like parent, or is gnome father like a title?
So there might have been. I'm the son of the 37th gnome father.
Ah, right. Okay.
Um, so like he's kind of the king, I guess.
Got it. Okay.
Um, I guess I'd like to call him my dad, but at the same time, there's like every gnome child is his child.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I don't know. I don't think he goes like to lunch with them and so on, but he does with me. So I'm pretty special.
You're his favorite. Okay. Well, what did you do to become the favored son of the gnome father?
I make really good stew.
Oh, okay. So you're a chef then.
Yeah, sure. I'd like to
Okay.
call myself a chef.
Okay. So you make a good stew, and that's why the gnome father likes you so much. Okay. So something is threatening the sanctity of gnome kind. There's like a danger. What is it that's endangering the gnomes of this world?
I think it's that bloody bard again. Like
Just
say there are
specifically?
allies, but
Okay.
I don't know. They keep coming around, and every time they show up, there's just trouble.
I see. Okay. So the bard is somehow responsible.
I would
Okay.
just assume so. I'm not sure.
They,
I haven't
okay, they blame you. All right,
bottom
we'll
up.
clarify that when we get around to Chad's character. We'll see. We'll see what they have to say about that. I'm gonna put a question mark next to Bard responsible. Okay. All right. Good. Cool. All right. Well, I think I have enough of an understanding of Pillman 37 for now. Let's talk about Thaddeus. So Thaddeus, our paladin. Let me get your character sheet here. What does Thaddeus look like?
Thaddeus is a man in his late 60s. He's lived a very, very war-torn kind of life. He's lost all of his hair, and he's a very gaunt man also. Very skinny, very frail, but he's still a powerful paladin.
Nice. Cool. Okay. So he's seen some things.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So I guess that's the first question here is like, what is he like? Is he come back from a war, or like serving against a great enemy?
So Thaddeus has been in so many battles that he's had many concussive episodes, which has left him with a lot of amnesia.
Okay.
Coming back from his latest war, he came across a disgusting gnome creature that he mistook for a small child. This gnome creature at the time was running away from the authorities who were pursuing a bounty, I believe.
Okay.
But Thaddeus...
So hold on, is it common that people put out bounties on children?
Well,
What's up with that?
not usually, but Thaddeus isn't very intelligent, so he couldn't really work out the situation.
Right, so you were confused, you were easily confused, and this gnome is taking advantage of you.
Yes, basically, Thaddeus still sees Pillmanon 37 as a small child that he must protect, and I think Pillmanon is using that to his advantage.
Okay, all right. And so you brought this child, this furry child baby, to a meeting with your god. So let's talk about your god. So you said that you have amnesia. Do you remember like swearing oaths to your deity? Do you remember like the early days of the temple, or do you just know that you serve the god?
All that Thaddeus knows is that he has brands all over his skin, old tattoos, that say that he is sworn to the god of anti-thievery,
Right. Okay.
whose cape is mysteriously
Yeah.
started missing.
Right. Has been stolen. Oh, he must be mad. Okay. So he's covered in tattoos. And so you only know. And so let's talk about your quest then. So you're sworn to defeat thieves and prevent thievery. What is the quest that you are on?
Oh, in my character sheet, let me pull it up.
Yeah.
Oh, my quest is to defend Pillmanon 37 from the iniquities that beset him.
Oh no. that's that's great. Okay, so you were ironically, and maybe your god is also the god of irony. Ironically, your goal here is to defend the person who you don't know stole the cape of your god from the iniquities that beset them, which are the bounty hunters who are looking for them.
Yes,
so that you can
that is
recover the
correct.
cloak of your god who hates thieves. Oh my god, it's perfect. Okay. All right, so your quest is to defend Pillman, and while you are doing that, what are the two boons that you've been given by your god to help you?
Oh, let me have a look.
So yeah, you have two of those.
I want a voice that transcends language.
Okay, all right. So when you speak, anyone can understand you.
Yes.
Okay, and you get another one.
And a freedom from hunger, thirst, and sleep.
Nice. Okay. So you cannot tire, grow thirsty, or hunger. Excellent. You're like a unmistakable Terminator. I really like that you didn't choose senses that pierce lies, so you can still be lied to
Oh, right.
by a
Yes,
certain
yes.
gnome. That's really good. Okay. So I think that you I think that instead then your god has given you a vow required to maintain your blessing, and it's a vow of truth. So you can't lie, or you'll lose your powers. So you have to tell the truth. Otherwise, no transcending language and no hunger, thirst, and sleep protection. Okay, cool. So we can't ask too much about your background because you don't remember it, right? Like you don't have. Are there any other clues? Like, do you have clues that indicate to you besides your tattoos, like where you might be from or anything like that?
Hmm.
Like you have a sword, right? Do you know where you got it, or is it just like kind of any old sword?
I think all of my gear has some hidden clue within it.
Ah,
It's all
nice.
it's all been with me for a long time.
Okay, so you're kind of like your stuff. Is it all kind of the same? Like, does your shield and your armor and your sword or whatever, do they all match, or do they look like really different? Like, do you have like a long sword from one place and a shield from another that kind of track your journeys?
Yeah, I would say that all of my equipment comes from different wars that I've been involved in.
Okay, cool. So it's all like pillage from various battles. Cool. That's badass. Okay. And are there others that worship your god, the god of not stealing? Does he have a proper church and priests and stuff, or is your relationship with this entity more personal?
I'd say he's one of the bigger characters in this setting. One of
Okay.
the bigger gods. Well
So
worshipped.
in human civilization generally, stealing is considered bad
Yes, it's a
because of
very,
this god's
very
influence.
poor
Okay.
sin to have.
Does your god have a name?
His name is DAB.
Okay. Does that stand for anything or?
No.
Okay, excellent. Right. Yeah, that's his holy mark. Yeah, you can tell. All right. All right. So, god of anti-thievery and fairly well worshipped. So you better look out. Look out, Quack, cuz
It's okay.
okay,
I can
god of
deal with him.
anti-thievery, highly regarded. Nobody wants their stuff stolen. Okay. Fantastic. Good. All right. So that means then that you are tangled up in the Pilmanans being hunted by like bounty hunters. That is something that concerns you as well because there are villainous men who are searching for your friend Pilmanan 37, and you need to protect his little furry self from danger. Okay. So I'm gonna just write down bounty hunters and assassins on your trail. Okay, cool, good. That's gonna go great. I am sure it'll turn out fine. All right, we'll keep working our way back through the list. So let's do the bard next.
All right.
So let me pull up your character sheet here. All right, Edwin. Edwin the bard. You're a human bard, right?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Okay. Edwin, human bard. Okay. So Edwin, what do you look like?
So, well, for Edwin, I chose that he has fiery eyes.
Okay.
Finery, which is like he always has his best clothes. He always wears fancy clothes. He always looks very good.
Mm-hmm.
But he has wild hair.
Wild
He
hair,
never.
nice.
His hair is never like fixed or anything. His hair
Right,
is always
okay.
wild, but he wears the best clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And well-fed body because he loves food. He's an adventurer and
Okay. Have
he
you
likes-
ever
Yes, sir.
eaten Pillman and 37's delicious gnome stew?
No.
No.
I
He
was
would-
gonna say my duck.
Edwin would like to do that because he's an adventurer.
Mhm.
He doesn't really have a town.
Right.
He's like a traveler.
Right,
He's
okay.
always traveling everywhere in pursuit of more knowledge. He wants to discover new tales, new histories, new songs, new food.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always moving around.
I guess this is to build the storyline, right? But I can tell you already, Edwin, that we
Yes.
can make an arrangement since you like fancy human clothes. Yeah, you have those, and I make great stew. I'm sure we can
Right.
come up.
Yeah.
We should.
Yeah, totally. So that's exactly what we're doing here, right? Is we're figuring out the ways the characters might be connected. So you're starting to see these connections form. Okay, so Edwin is a seeker of new experiences of food and song, but also a maker of music himself, right? So what?
Yes.
What is your instrument?
My instrument is a fiddle never before played.
Oh, okay. So, is it brand new to you, or are you just carrying it, waiting for the right moment, or do you not know how to play it?
I think I'm still learning how to play it.
Right. So you haven't played it
But
yet.
Nobody in the world knows how to play this specific fiddle.
Oh,
That's why.
so you may know how to play the fiddle. So what is it? What's special about this fiddle? Why can no one in the world play it?
I mean, I haven't figured it out yet because I have, in my travels, I've been trying to find someone who knows how to play this fiddle or who knows more about this fiddle, but nobody has ever seen it or a fiddle
Right.
like this one.
Okay, so you have a fiddle nobody can play.
You try playing it, but sound doesn't come out of it.
Right.
It doesn't even sound bad.
Right, it's just a
doesn't make a sound.
silent fiddle.
Unique fiddle. I like the sound of that.
Amazing. That's actually a really cool like magic item, like a silent fiddle, and you need to like figure out what will make it make sound.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay. Where did you get it? Why do you have it?
I got it in one of my many travels,
Yeah.
let's say.
Okay. And was it given to you? Did you
I
obtain it
found it in
illegally?
an old ruin.
Okay. Cool. And actually, while we're on the subject, what's your alignment?
My alignment is neutral.
Okay. And what do
And it
you get?
allows me to avoid a conflict or diffuse a tense situation.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you want to try to avoid conflict, talk your way out of things. I like it. Okay, and so you have this silent fiddle, and you have a specialty. You're a bard, so you have a type of lore that is a specialty. What is your
My
specialty?
lore is about the dead and undead.
Whoa. Okay. So that's interesting. So where did that come from? Because it sounds like on the surface you're kind of a like a gourmand, someone who is seeking bright life experiences, but then your specialty is the dead and undead. Why is
Because
that?
in my travels I have found like old ruins and tombs as well in the way, and I found many unnatural things, like
Okay.
my fiddle. It was found in one of these tombs.
Oh, cool. So you have your like weird ghost fiddle you found in the tombs.
And
Okay.
I specialized in this lore, trying to learn more about the fiddle.
Cool. Yeah, yeah. So it was the fiddle that led you to learning more about like ghosts
Yeah,
and zombies
let's say,
and
let's say.
okay, so let's talk about that and how when a human dies, do they like what happens to their soul? Like do they go to heaven? Does their god claim them? Do they just disappear? Does nobody
I
know?
I think nobody knows.
Okay.
Edwin doesn't really believe in gods or heaven until
Okay.
it's proven to him. He only believes in things he has seen and experienced.
Okay. So what are undead then? Like what is a ghost or what is a zombie?
So an undead is basically something or someone who's dead and rises
Right. So it's like the body of
like an
a dead
skeleton
person. Okay.
or an spirit.
Sure. People that stick around. Okay. Okay. Into it. Okay. And you don't worship the gods. So we'll see how you and Thaddeus get along because Thaddeus's god is just like been around. He's just we haven't seen him on screen, but like he's been there. He
And
exists.
the conflict with Philmanen is probably because Edwin has been looking for clues or something because he has heard many stories about the dynasty of the Philmanen family.
Right. Yes, all the way back to the
So
gnome father.
he's
They might have answers.
so he's looking for.
Okay.
He wants to learn more about this land and this
Okay.
race.
Cool. All right. So we got an undead lore bard with a ghost fiddle no one can play. And we've got the god of anti-thievery and his paladin who is protecting a thief unknowingly, who is the 37th son of the Pilmanen gnome father and has a friend who is a duck and is being hunted by bounty hunters. Perfect. That's so good. Okay. Excellent. All right, let's get to know our other characters. Let's do Galadir. Let's do the wizard now.
Yes.
So we can learn some things about magic and about elves. So you're an elven wizard, right, Galadir?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. So let me just write that down. Elf wizard. Okay. So let's talk about elves. What are elves like? What is an
They're just a
elf?
bit. I mean, just a bit different to humans. They just look a bit different, but I feel like in the world they can act the same.
Okay.
But they're a bit more playful and less focused on war.
Okay. So you can tell an elf and a human apart by looking at them.
Yes.
Right? Okay. How do you do that?
Elves have pointy ears, or like really long pointy ears, and
Okay.
some have a bit of. Some might look a bit green and stuff, but most of them still look normal. They have a bit wider hair overall,
Okay.
and their clothes a bit different too.
Right. Yeah. They have their own fashions. Okay. So when because obviously like Thaddeus, our human, and I guess like I'm curious. So Edwin and Thaddeus are human. You can help me understand this. Are humans like warlike in general? Is that a human quality, or is it just the humans that Thaddeus is a part of? Are they like warriors?
I'd say that people that worship at the Church of Anti-Thievery are more warlike. We're very zealous, but I'd say the human population overall still more warlike than elves. Elves are too playful and innocent.
Okay. So have we Galadir, have the elves ever suffered from that zealousness? Like are elves is their relationship with humans tense? Have the humans ever tried to like take your lands? I guess they wouldn't because they don't like stealing, but has there ever been a human elf like conflict?
Yes, for sure in the past, but long time ago. Since a few 100 years already, they have been living in peace. But before that, the humans actually tried to make a conflict with the elves. They didn't like how they look like, and they didn't accept them as like a corresponding race.
Okay, so there's been 100 years of peace between the two. Okay, that's cool. I'm gonna write that down for no reason at all. Okay, cool. What does Galadir look like?
He's a bit crazy.
Okay.
Crazy wizard. He has crazy eyes. He has white hair. He has strange robes because he makes them by himself, so he's not really talented at it. But he looks normal. Like he is not underweight or overweight. He's really standard.
Yeah, so it's
like
just,
most elves are.
Yeah, it's just the dress that makes you look like the way you're dressed makes you look strange. Okay,
Yes.
so is your strangeness the result of like do you have to be a weirdo to get into magic to become a wizard, or is being a wizard what made you so strange?
I think I was born this way.
Yeah, okay,
I
born
was just born
weird.
strange and weird, and my parents or my father always said my mother was also a bit crazy. I never got to meet my mother, but he said she was also a bit crazy.
Okay. So how did you become a wizard? Did you go to school? Is it a natural talent? Did you teach yourself magic?
I think it was a natural talent, and then I just read a lot about it. After my father said that my mother used to be a wizard.
Okay. So is wizardry is this something that is like generally shunned in society, or are there other people that can do what you can do?
I think people used to not like wizards, but it's a normal thing now.
Oh, okay. So why is it that people didn't like wizards before?
Because they could do stuff others couldn't, so they were more like seen as dangerous things.
Okay, so what changed?
It got more accepted. Like the wizards actually didn't really make an effort to be evil or take over the elf world or in general with the world. So
okay,
they try to help normal elves as well.
Right.
Like,
so is there an organization of wizards, like a high circle of wizards that you have to belong to, or like what gets all of the wizards like together to change their behavior? Because I imagine there was some kind of conclave that was like, listen, we need to be nice to these normal people and not be so evil to them, so they will.
I don't know anything about that because I'm a lone wolf mostly.
Right. Okay. So you're like, I'm not a part.
I'm not that good with other elves and humans. So
do you need to have like
do you
have to have like a license to practice wizardry? Is it
I'm not sure, but
regulated?
I mean, as a wizard, I wouldn't care. If
Right.
someone
Okay.
comes and wants something,
Okay. So wizards have like sort of fallen in with society,
yes,
but not you. You're a cool badass who doesn't care about the rules. Okay.
more or less.
Sure. Okay. Um. All right. So your mom, you have a talent for magic from your mother. Um. Okay. Cool. So what spells did you choose? What
I
spells do you like?
choose spell defense
Okay.
because I'm crazy and I have to actually defend myself. Like I'm good at using spells, but not good at aiming them, or sometimes I go a bit wrong, or I try to experiment a bit too much, and then it just fails. So I make sure I'm defending myself from my own crazy actions, and then I know it all. Like I might not be good at using my spells, but I know a lot of things. Like I'm really intelligent of a wizard, and
Right. And so this is important for the other characters. If you want to go to Galadir for advice, Galadir can give you advice and you can get a bonus for it. Okay,
okay,
I like that. Okay, so you can also cast spells from the wizard spells in the compendium. So if you want to cast things like sleep and magic missile, you just tell me
okay,
when you want to be able to do that. Cool.
yeah, sure.
Okay. So you have magical talent and you are good at advising. So what do you know about the undead? Are they something that you have interacted with before? Do you know any ghosts?
Not really.
Yeah.
I haven't really experienced ghosts myself.
Okay, so what do elves what is their sort of point of view on the afterlife? What happens when you die if you're an elf?
I
Do
haven't really
elves do
thought about myself yet,
Mhm.
but I think everyone has kind of their own ideas of it.
Okay, so it's uncertain even for elves.
Yes, it's kind of uncertain.
Okay. All right. And then when do the elves have do they have the same do they have the same gods as humans, or do they have any gods? Do they worship
No, we
the
don't
power
have
of nature?
gods. Maybe
No?
that's why we don't believe in an afterlife either,
Ah,
because we just
okay.
don't know. Like we're not really religious or anything.
Okay. Interesting. So what do you think of the humans' gods? Are they just like powerful creatures that have suckered the humans into worshiping them, or
I don't know what they're capable of, so like we are kind of scared a bit sometimes of them. That's why I don't have a wizard head, because I can't really afford one, but I'm also scared to steal one.
Right. Yes,
Um,
you don't want to steal not because it's
so
wrong,
I
but
yeah,
I
I'm
like
scared
it.
that the gods might be doing something to me if I do something wrong. So like I'm scared of them, but
Right.
not sure what they're capable of.
Okay, cool. I like the idea that like religion is kind of like new and it's like a human thing where they're like, yeah, we just cool, those humans, they have these things they worship and the things give them magic and nope, we don't have that. Uh
Yes.
but they're also like, yeah, the gods are kind of scary because they're like, you have to do what we say or we're gonna try to wage war on you, as is evidenced, right, by these like this sect of zealots. Cool. Human gods are new and kind of weird. Okay, great. Well, then we have our last character to get to know, and we're gonna learn a little bit about dwarves. Let's get to know our fighter. So, uh, Nidaroom, you are a dwarven fighter.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, dwarf fighter. So let's talk about dwarves. We know that elves are kind of like happy go lucky. They have some wizard stuff. They're not very religious. We know that gnomes are often mistaken for human children and have myths about growing up. Um, we've learned a bit about humans. So what is a dwarf? What are dwarves like?
I personally don't know much about dwarves since I'm living with my parents on a farm, so I'm
Mm,
pretty sheltered away from everything.
okay. So you're like a sort of a farm boy. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Cool. And have you always lived? Are your parents dwarves?
Yeah, my parents are dwarves. My father was a great warrior. From him I also got my battered helm and my axe.
Okay. Has your father like given up the ways of war, like to pass them on to you? How does he feel about his warrior past?
He takes great pride in his achievements and glories,
Awesome.
but when he found my mother, he wanted to have a silent, non-stressful life, so they moved together on a farm. And I'm the oldest son from 7 sisters and 8 brothers.
Cool. Okay. So he passed on his warrior lineage to you.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
All right. Cool. So give up his lineage for peace. And so what does he hope that you will do? Does he hope that you'll have the same, like a life of adventure, and then sort of retire and settle down, or?
Since he was the oldest son, he had to move from home soonish,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. But he knew what to do, so but he remembered when he was like younger, a child, he met this old guy who was confused and came to him and was starting to talking about gods and stuff, and he was too young and he didn't know something. The only thing that he remembered was Deb, which is the old god Debi, which he doesn't know yet.
Okay. Okay, cool. So this is like your first adventure. You're like
Yes,
out there learning about the world.
basically, he's looking for that god because he doesn't know what else to do in his life.
Right. Like here's your father's sword. Go do something. Go check it out. Okay, cool. So is that what you're doing? Are you like why what are you looking for out in the world? You're seeking this god. Um and like experiences, but do you want to like end up like your father, like eventually do you want to retire on a farm?
Just looking for events, adventures overall.
Yeah.
Not really looking for an end game yet.
Okay.
What, where he ends up. Just get some knowledge because he never attended school.
I love that like usually the dwarf is like the grumpy kind of curmudgeon in the party. They're like, oh, I guess I'll go along with it. But I love that the dwarf is just like, yay, adventure. I'm so excited. Like I'm gonna go see the world. That's really cool. Okay, so you're out for adventure. You want to make good on your father's sword and see the world, and you've somehow ended up with these jerks. What so do most dwarves are they like your family? Like are they kind of like down to earth, or is your family different from most dwarves?
Pretty much down to earth, just not really in any community or anything. Just staying for themselves.
Ah, okay, so they're kind of solitary. Okay. Good. All right. So what is what is the most what is the most like impressive monster you've ever fought? What's the most impressive thing you ever defeated in battle?
Uh, 10 wolves at once because they were attacking our farm.
Nice. That is impressive. Okay. So fought off 10 wolves at once. That's pretty cool. Okay. And that was to
Wait,
protect your farm?
was it bulls or
Yes,
wolves?
wolves. Well, that was helping a bit, but
Dad was there. It's fine. Okay. Okay, good. Good. So you're just like a wide-eyed dwarven adventurer looking for a good time. Okay, cool. Um let's talk about your dad's magic sword. So what did you
oh,
choose?
it's a hammer.
It's a hammer. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you chose the form of a hammer. Does the weapon have a name?
No, it has no name.
Okay. So it's just your father's hammer. Okay. All right. So you got this hammer. Um is it what did you choose for the range?
I choose close range.
Close range? Okay. So it's not
Yes.
it's not like a real short like a small hammer. It's like good enough that you can get somebody who's pretty close by, but you can't. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
like it doesn't have a reach. But what did you choose for its enhancements?
I took sharp and hooks and spikes.
Okay. So a sharp hammer I mean, seems like it doesn't make any sense, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That can mean that it's sharp. It's like good at penetrating through armor. Okay, so it's +2 piercing.
Yeah.
I guess if it was like a monster hunter hammer, you could sharpen it. But Okay, so and then you took hooks and spikes.
Yes.
Terrifying. Okay, I like that you're this like farm boy out for adventure, but you have a piercing hooked spike hammer. Cool. That's a little scary. So, do you know the history of your father's hammer? Did he tell you anything about it? Do you know who made it?
I just know that my father used to keep throwing the hammer instead of using it for fighting, so he was just throwing it into the enemies.
Okay. Cool. So he has an unconventional fighting style. What did you choose? Sorry, what did you choose for the look for the hammer?
It's ancient, I think.
Ancient. Okay. So it comes from a time even before your father's life, passed on to him. But he hasn't shared the story with you.
Nah, he doesn't like to talk about his past.
Oh, so it's your dad that has the dark past. Okay. So one day, in your relatively recent history, a human came to your house, and your father tried to send them away. Like they had a history. This person, this cloaked figure, came to your house and demanded to talk to your father. It was about something from their past. Your father tried to get him to leave, but he wouldn't leave until your father spoke with him. Your father went out, left the house, told you like stay here and watch over the family. And he went out and he talked to this person. And after that, he didn't seem like the same. Something was like bothering him. And very quickly after that, he gave you the weapon and told you to go and like go out into the world and seek adventure. Um, did you recognize the man? Did you know him? Had you ever seen him before? The stranger that came to your house?
No, I never seen him before. He was a complete mystery to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was also looking out for this man when I went out.
Yeah. So you're looking for the stranger. Okay, cool. All right. So let's do our bonds, and then character creation is done. Then we can just play the game. So let's start with we'll go back to the beginning. We'll start with Pillman and 37. Would you like to read your bonds for me?
Did I write any bonds? I
No,
don't think I
You can
did.
do them. I mean, you can do
Oh.
them now. Like if you
Okay.
look at the ranger, you should have I think 4 of them. Yeah, you have 4.
Okay. My
Where do we
bad.
see it? Where do we go?
It's on the compendium. Like if you search for your class, it's right under your gear when you're picking that.
Wait, so I have 4 bonds?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a bond with everybody as I mentioned, kinda in my stories.
Yeah, and so you can tell me you put in their name.
That's all I have to do now?
Yep.
I don't have to do
Yeah, so you
anything?
just read the bond and tell me which person you want to put in each blank.
Okay, so I have a bond with what is the name? With Rob.
Yep. Rob's
the
character's
pal
name is Thaddeus.
Thaddeus.
Thaddeus. And then I have a relation with the bard.
So your bonds are actually like specific here. I'll post some things. So they're specific statements about those characters, and it'll help get you an idea of what your relationship with that character looks like.
Oh, so here where
Yeah,
I wrote. Oh,
Just
okay.
read everything and fill the name.
Oh, can you? Okay. Uh, okay, so I have guided Thaddeus before, and they owe me for it.
Okay, all right. So Thaddeus, this relationship with your gnome friend, it isn't just one directional. The gnome is capable of guiding you through the wilderness.
That's
Also,
why I got to meet God,
Yep.
like the God. Map.
That's right, Dab.
Um,
Okay.
and therefore he owes me, and like he has to protect me.
Yeah, sure. That sounds
He might
reasonable.
know what I did, even, but he won't tell anybody that. He won't admit it because then he's in danger of his whole community.
Mhm.
And then we have the wizard
Mhm.
who helped me level up my pet, I guess I can say.
Okay.
and Hans my head pet. So I'm a friend of his.
Right. So I like that. So Galadir, you've used your magic to help your gnomish friend, to help Pillman 37
Yeah.
improve Quack, the duck companion.
Yeah, there was not just a small kid coming to my house, and he
Right,
wanted his duck
this
to be
kid and his
big.
giant duck.
So I just couldn't say no to it, even though I don't really get with other people.
Look at this
So I kinda
adorable
say
fur
small shit. I
baby.
can't. I had to make him a bigger duck. He was really happy afterwards.
He was afraid that I wouldn't manage on my own out in the wilderness, so he had to make sure that my companion was suitable for, taking care of whatever
Right, of course.
encounters we have.
Sure.
So I'm I'm a very good friend of his. I might have stole a hat from him once, but
Right, but that's fine.
that's
Gnomes don't fear the gods. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What are your other two bonds?
I have no respect for dwarves.
Wow.
They are mean, grumpy, oversized gnomes.
I feel so bad for Nidorum because Pillman 37 hates all dwarves being grumpy and dour, and you're like, but I'm so friendly. What's wrong?
Yeah, well, that's just my
Yeah.
general impression of the dwarves.
Okay, so Nidorum, your companion Pillman thinks of you as being sour and grumpy, so you'll have to try to prove him wrong. Okay, and your last bond.
And then my last bond is with the bard.
With Edwin.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is it?
Wait, actually, that doesn't make sense. That's with the wizard.
Okay.
So it does not understand life in the wild, so I'll teach them.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Good. So Pillman, you have two bonds with Galadir, one with Thaddeus, and one with Nidorum. So you probably don't.
That's why he thought I needed a gigantic duck to be by my side when I walk on my journeys, but he doesn't know that I'm a ranger with the skies of a lot of animals out there.
Right. You're like you don't know. You think I'm just
I
a
know
furry
hunting.
baby, but I got it under control. I know what's up.
I know hunting.
Okay. All right. So the furry baby Pillman 37 is trying to teach you things about the wild. I like it. Okay. All right. Thaddeus, let's do your bonds.
Okay. I would say that Galadir's misguided behavior endangers their very soul because his magic is just too unstable. It's once put myself and Pillman at great risk, and now I can't fully trust him after that.
Ah, okay. So the magic is what's putting your life in danger, and you have to like keep an eye on him. Okay, cool. I like that.
And Pillman has stood by me in battle and can be trusted completely.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that you think that that's true. I don't think Pillman personally. I don't think Pillman can be trusted implicitly, but that's a great thing for your character to believe. Yes.
And I respect the beliefs of Edwin, but hope they will someday see the true way. I think he's
okay.
I think he's a good bard to adventure around the world, but I don't think he's disciplined enough.
Right, and someday
he's not God fearing. That's the thing. He's too much of an atheist.
Right, someday he'll learn not to steal things. So do you test him? Do you just like leave stuff around to see if he'll steal it?
Yes, I don't trust people who aren't God fearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not good enough to say I'm not going to steal. You have to do it religiously. Cool. Okay. And are those all your bonds, or do you have more?
No, and I think Nidorum is a brave soul, and I have much to learn from him.
Oh yeah.
He's got a very kind spirit about him. He's a good young dwarf.
The farmer boy?
Yeah. There you go. Cool.
I don't like that mean guy.
Yeah. No, and that's good. That's great. Okay, cool. So you have something to learn about the purity of his spirit. He's just out there for adventure. Cool. Okay. All right. So our bard, Edwin, what are your bonds?
So I sang stories of Pillman and 37 long before I ever met them in person.
Right? Pillman 37 is a very famous gnome. Fur baby.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I have traveled a lot and I have heard many stories. So I sang them in my journey.
Excellent.
Nidarum is often the butt of my jokes.
Aw, poor Nidorum. hmm
This is not my first adventure with Galadir.
Oh, cool. Okay, so you and Galadir know each other from the before.
Yeah, from one of my travels. I met him before.
Cool. Okay, so Galadir,
Elven Forest.
maybe you know a little bit about the like ghost fiddle, and you know that Edwin is looking out for the undead. Okay, yeah, I like it.
Yes.
I asked him about the fiddle as well.
Okay, cool.
Thaddeus does not trust me, and for a good reason.
I think we've established that is the case. Yes.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Okay.
And I got one more. I am writing a ballad about the adventures of Pillman and 37.
I would listen to the Ballad of Pillman 37. I would listen to that. That sounds like a great tune. Cool. So you're working on it, despite the fact that you don't have a functional musical instrument. You're trying.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Someday you'll be able to ring a note from the silent fiddle, and then you will sing. Then you will sing of Pillman, and everyone
God,
will
you're
know.
such a fanboy.
I just did everything.
Yeah.
I have one more even,
Yeah, do it.
but I haven't thought what it is yet. Galadir trusted me with a secret.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
will-
that's
we will
something
know.
that's something Galadir can come up with too. Like Galadir, you
In the future.
Edwin a secret, but we haven't figured out
Okay.
what it is yet. And
Yeah.
you can decide it now. You can say it. You can keep it in your head, and later be like, oh yeah, this is what I told you. It doesn't matter right now.
I want to keep it for now.
Okay, cool. All right, good. Let's do Nidorum. What are your bonds?
Okay, so Galadir owes me their life, whether they admit it or not.
Nice. Okay, so you saved Galadir from something.
Yeah, he almost started a forest fire once because he went crazy, so I had to smack him once, so he went unconscious, and I saved us both
I
basically.
really like too that you're playing this fighter, but all of your stuff seems to be around like other stuff that isn't fighting. Where you're like, yeah, I saved your life, and I expected you to be like, yeah, I fought some monster or something. But you're like, no, you just have really bad fire discipline, and I had to save you from a forest fire you started by accident. That's good. That's really good. Okay, cool. What are your other bonds?
I have sworn to protect Thaddeus. He seems to be like a mentor and like a father figure for me, so I think highly of him.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool.
So I worry about the ability of Pillman and 37 to survive in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he has his tricks in real life and so on, but I don't see him as being reliable in a dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my last one is Quack is soft, but I make them hard like me. So I'm basically targeting for Pillman's pet.
That's great. That's really good. You have a specific bond, not with the ranger, but with the ranger's giant duck. That's really good. That's super cool. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before. That's really cool. So you're trying to train this duck how to fight, so that it can survive. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna make the duck into a badass.
Yeah.
Cool.
And maybe
What? I usually feign death and just let my pet take care of my battles.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, he's trying to
I mean,
make you
that's
fit.
just if you die in the dungeon, you know. I'll take good care of him in my tummy.
Yeah.
That's good.
I dig it. Okay. Cool. Are those all your bonds?
Yes, that's
All right. So, last but not least, Galadir, our elven wizard. What are your bonds?
What was Bart's name again? I'm sorry, I forgot it.
The bard.
Yeah,
Edwin.
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 Yes, Edwin.
Sorry, I was between Aiden and Edwin. Got it.
It's fine.
Edwin will keep an important role in events to come. I have foreseen it. I've met him once or like twice already, and yeah, I can see there might be something mysterious about him happening in the future.
Right. And so that's why you're traveling with him, because he?
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to know. I want to be in it as well,
Mm,
and I want to actually see it. But I haven't told him yet about it.
sure. Okay.
Thaddeus is keeping an important secret from me. There's something about his gods I just don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's something more to it than just the gods of not stealing stuff.
There's got to be more to it than that. It's a mystery at play. Okay.
And Nidorum is woefully misinformed about the word. I will teach them all I can, or all that I can.
So
I really like Nidorum. Like, he's a good person. He's just a bit, not ready for the word.
right.
But
He's a little
I'm
naive.
He's a little naive and just a little bit. He is not really very educated, to put it in nice words. So
Sure.
I
Yeah.
wanna,
so
I wanna give it back to him.
you're gonna help him figure out what
Yes.
the world is about
Exactly.
for real. Okay. Great. And that's all your bonds?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, cool. So we're ready. We have characters. We have a world. We're gonna take a break here. We're gonna take 5, and I'm gonna make some more notes. And when we come back, we will spend the rest of the session getting these characters into some trouble and seeing if they can get themselves out. So stick around. We're gonna take a short break here and be right back.